Hello. How's everyone doing today?
Hey Aaron, doing good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Real good. So we'll get started as usual. I'm gonna wait till about 12:35 my time to start digging in. But I'm really excited to show you guys what we have today. And it probably will be a smaller crowd given the holiday. Um, yeah, bonjour. Um, but it's recorded, so folks will get a chance to see it after the fact. So just hang tight. Yeah, exactly, Sebastian. Work. So if you're just joining, welcome and know that we'll get started here in about 3 more minutes. Hi, everyone. If you just joined, know that we'll get started in about 2 more minutes. So just hang tight. Tend to see the bulk of people join like at 34, so I always wait till 35. Nice to see some new faces or some old friends joining. Okay, let's just get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Torus community meeting. I'm Erin Serwinski. I am manager of learning engineering and product development at the Open Learning Initiative and the Simon Initiative. And I'm really excited to share with you today a demonstration of what will be coming out in our next release. It is ready to go. We're doing we're working on some communications and outreach before we just push it out. But I'm very excited for you to see what will be coming. So today we're going to focus on mainly the student experience, but because that's pretty quick and easy to go through, I'll also show you some of the new stuff that'll be part of course section creation. This is really all in service of the student and the learner experience. So some of the levers that would be available to an instructor as they set up a course section. But first, I'll just dive right in. I don't have a PowerPoint today. I just wanted to get right into showing you the latest and greatest. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. So what I really want to show you first before we dig into instructor stuff is right now I've been given a link essentially to a course section. That's where we're going to start today. So I'm a learner who was given a link to enter this course section. And so when I enter that link, I get this in my courses list, and I can, and by the way, that image is configurable, just so you know. But here is the landing page for my course, and today I'm going to be showing off some chemistry material as part of the demo. And so this is the landing page that the student would come into. It lists the full outline of the course, as you can see, which is really nice. There's this overall course progress bar. And by the way, I've been in here as a student already playing around to seed some stuff so that you could see the course progress bar have a little stuff in it. As you can see, this course is really long. So progress is calculated over all the pages and activities in a course. And I've gone through just a tiny bit, but it's giving me a percentage of completion. And we can dig into what that means a little bit later. We have the ability to also pull out this left navigation bar and get to any of the pages this way as well. And this persists even when I dig into the page, so that I can always easily get back to the course outline. And discussion posts. There's a couple places and ways we can do discussion in the platform now. If I go to this, it's going to list all of my latest activity and discussions. And then assignments will show any graded pages and quizzes that are in the course, and it'll show things if the instructor set any kind of gating and scheduling, it would show here as well. I haven't opened these twisties, so okay, they went over. So that, pretty simple interface for digging into a course. Just to show you some pages, I'll go through, since I already went through stoichiometry earlier, I'll go through some little short section here. We'll get into chemical, well, I'll go through stoichiometry again. So as I dig in, the course pages are, and by the way, I have this, kind of small, but one of the things I wanted to show you is how we're building it for different form factors. So if I am on a mobile device, it automatically will move the content into that smaller scale. And let me grab the window again. And I think what it does with the discussion board in that case is maybe move it to the bottom. Yeah, see how that worked. And I'll go through some of the pages here just to show you how some of the content shows up. Nice, clean. And I'll go through and do some of these activities too. And I'm probably just going to hit wrong answers. But again, I'm just trying to show you, as a student works through some content, what their experience is like. And like I said before, I can always get to the rest of the content here. I can also get to the discussion at any time. So I'll just keep going through some pages so you can see how different pieces of the content look. We have all the ability to do all the things that you could previously do in OLI courses. Nothing really surprising here. Yes, Sandy, you have a question? Sandy, do you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mute myself there for a
It's
second.
okay.
So is the discussion that the student sees along the side of a page, is that the same as like when they click the discussion and they see the whole page, or is there any difference between
So
those
that we have
two?
yeah, I was getting to that, and thanks for asking that. So we have a couple different ways we can add discussions to a course. We can add discussions to the whole course, or we can add discussions to individual pages. What you're seeing, what you were seeing before. So this discussion shows any discussions anywhere. What I've done ahead of time is I've added a discussion to this introduction stoichiometry page. So let me get back to that. Big course here. So this introduction page, I particularly added a discussion to this page, and I seeded it with like me as the student saying, you know, this unit is really difficult. And then I also added it to the full course. The full course show up on the homepage. So this discussion, I wrote an introduction. Hi, everyone, I'm new to chemistry, but really interested in learning more. And then I also replied to it. And I can show a little bit this earlier. You can have discussions that are pending where the instructor has to approve the post. And I'll show you where that is. I'm going to go into the instructor view in just a minute. Or you can have them open. And what you see in the discussion listing is, from my perspective as a student, all the discussion activity. You can see all my discussions are here. So this is kind of, if I want to see all the discussions that I've posted, I can go to discussion and it'll show that no matter where they are in the course.
And it has, I see it has the page
Yeah.
title there. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And
And you did this all as a student, right? And with the student.
I did do all
Okay.
as a student, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Sure. Norm, do you have a question or a comment?
Just wanted to make a quick comment that I think as a reminder for folks that were with us during our last session, we're moving to a 4 release a year schedule, and we're trying to have these mid-semester releases be pieces that are less, where possible, less disruptive for the in-progress sections. And so what you're looking at here is actually really foundational to more advanced work that will continue. And so when we look at the discussion board, this is going to grow into capabilities for discussion activities, but it's also going to be growing into our capabilities for social annotation. That one of the big pieces that we're going to see emerging from the Chemistry Gates grant is this ability for students to begin annotating and discussing those annotations with one another. So this is a step along that road. And you'll see that same approach, that these are foundational building blocks for larger feature sets throughout some of the pieces that Aaron's going to be showing.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Anybody else have any questions or comments so far for what they're seeing?
When you said that the assignment page showed assignments, you mean the sort of summative assignments, right? You don't mean the formative ones that are
Correct. This is a list of essentially all the quizzes in this course.
Thank you.
And if as an instructor I signed any kind of due dates or gating and scheduling, which I'll show a little bit of in a minute, these are just all open and you can get to them from here.
Would our surveys also show up here, the survey tool, or would that not be in an assignment?
I don't know yet. We haven't determined that yet. So I probably want to talk to you more about that and what you would want to have happen.
Erin, quick question on the assignments here. It doesn't seem like they're in any particular order.
I haven't checked on that yet to know how they're ordered here, but I can look into
I mean,
that.
that's not, I mean, I'm just looking at it and it's the first two are from modules at the end of the course. The third one is a module at the beginning of the course, chemical reactions and equations.
Okay.
is-
Mhm.
Yeah, so anyway, it's just noting there.
Yeah, we'll look into that and see what, I assume you would want them in the order. I can imagine we'd want them either in the order of, how they appear in the course, in the order of the course, but also the due dates might impact that as well. Once you see, the instructor
Mm.
side things of how you can do gating and scheduling and movement of content around, I'll have to find out what it's doing now, and then we'll have to figure out what the ideal is.
Okay.
So let me see. I was kind of working through some content. Think you've seen enough of the pages. You guys probably are most interested now in what this looks like on the instructor side. So let me flip over to that. So I've already entered this course as an instructor. I've set up my, I've already set up a section, a course section, obviously, because I wanted to show it from the student side. But I can show you here some things that you can do as an instructor and what kind of levers you have to set up a course section for a student. So some of these are placeholders, by the way, so I'm not going to go through each one of these things at the top of the page. I'm just going to go into those things that we're ready to release, essentially. So, of course, students will give you a list of all your students and the information and the course progress that they have. Again, all of this is really new and not released yet. It's been tested out, but we still have some, use cases and things we'd want to hear more about from folks who end up using these things. So list of students, I've only been 2 students in this course. The modules, this just shows the overview of the course. Again, that outline view, so I can get to anything. Discussion activity, this will show me all discussion activity that's going on, what it's linked to. And in this case, I set this one up in particular to be having to be approved by an instructor. So I can see at a glance what discussions are needing approval. I can sort and sort them by or show them by post need approval, post waiting reply, or by discussion. I'm just going to go ahead and approve this one, just to show how easy that is. And because I have 2 different discussions set up in 2 different ways, I have a discussion activity that's tied to a page. I also have the course overall discussion. I can see the different types there. Assignments, we don't have listed yet, but I want to go in and start showing some of the manage course section stuff. So basically this link here, if you're doing what we call direct delivery, in fact, like what I did to set up this this course for a student is I just gave the student this link and they were able, I have it set to open to anyone. So I was able to, as a student, as a guest student without an account, go into that course. And that's what you were seeing, me as a guest student in that course. And that's also why student is unknown, just so you know. I wasn't logged in any way. I'm not doing this through an LMS, even though it could be. But because I just entered it as kind of like an open and free student, it doesn't have my information there. But you can have some settings, and I'll show you where those are, to manage how students enter the course. But the cool thing about it is it's just a matter of sharing a link, and which is a lot easier than a course key even. So I'm an instructor, so I can preview this course as an instructor. I can enter it as a student. In terms of customizing the curriculum, I can go in and I can rearrange content. I can move content, delete, add content, just like you would in our in our existing platform. Scheduling is a really interesting feature that if you didn't see it prior, I think we might have demoed this last time. but in case you missed it, this is what we're calling, it's a soft scheduling, I guess, but this is something where I set up that I have an 8-week course, and that's by putting in the dates. And I can show you where that is. I put in particular dates for my course, and what it does is it automatically gives me this grid with all of the course content, and I can open these twisties up to see modules, pages, and I can plan my course by selecting what days of the week my course meets. I'm going to say, yeah, I do meet every day, Monday through Friday. And when I do that, it gives me a suggested schedule for across the course content. This will set, it won't do any gating, but it will help with scheduling, and it will help as we're building in new features all the time to help give alerts to both students and instructors. This will kind of help drive that, so they can show students and instructors what's coming up next, or help instructors gauge who's falling behind in a way. So I can also play with these and move them around as well, and it'll change everything under it. So say I want to teach properties of matter for some reason later and over multiple weeks, I can manipulate these. And when there's a lock, I can also unlock it. And because what the lock will do is show you what else is attached to that movement. You can see it didn't change everything in the course. It's only changing this. So that's a cool feature that we've added, is that scheduling and timeline feature. I can also do advanced gating and scheduling. And the way that's done is I can set up a new gate. I can pick the resource that I want, and I can choose a condition. So I can select a resource. Sorry that I wasn't expecting that pop up to have a delay. Can set a resource. I can choose a condition that it's always open or upon starting or finishing, and allowing access to all grade pages, or allow review of previously completed attempts. You have some control over what students can see or not going forward in the course. And you can set up as many of these as you want. I didn't create one, but you can set up as many gates as you want. It's advanced gating and scheduling. Manage source materials. This one this is just telling me, this will be where there's notifications of new publications and updates, and I'll show how that works in a little bit here. And when you have an update, it'll show, you'll see this later, it'll show a little, you have alert there that you have updates pending. These are just some additional controls. This will let me see the enrollments and some progress. I can invite students and give them a link that expires or doesn't. So I have some controls over if I'm going to send out these links, how far into the course am I going to allow people to enter anew. Section details has a lot of new settings as well. I can, here's where registration is, where you set registration is either just open, it requires enrollment. And you can also control emails generated from the system, like the verification, if students have to verify their email or not upon using the link. And here's where I set those start and end dates. You don't have to do that. I did that just so I could show that scheduling functionality. Some payment settings. This will display curriculum item numbers or not. Not quite sure. That's probably, this is all controlling like the view and how the content is displayed. So as an instructor, if I want to change what things are called, I can do that here as well. So this is where I enabled the overall course discussion board. And this is where I unchecked allow posts to be visible without approval. That's what set off that approval workflow. And then the grading, there's a place here where you can score. You can go and see if you have manually graded activities, which could be short answer activities that are embedded in the course, or we also have the ability to have file uploads as well to be able to be graded. This is where you would go to see that list. There's none that exist in this course, so I'm not going to go to that. And gradebook is still under construction, I believe, as well. So overall, that's the instructor view and some of the controls that we have available so far. Of course, we're always developing more. So the one more thing I want to show, and let me just check the chat right now. Oh, thanks, Norm, for answering questions. I do have something asking if I can create group discussions. We can't do that yet in terms of like, meaning like we can't yet carve off groups and just have discussions amongst those groups. But I can imagine if I play around with those settings enough, I'd be able to figure out a way to do that and communicate that. But I would like to know more about what you all would be wanting to do and what kind of controls you would want to have with discussions and discussion posts. I'm going to show one more thing, and that is the publishing process and what happens when someone actually makes a change in the course. So I was in here earlier adding, basically adding the one discussion, the page level discussion. But I'm just going to go into this course and make a quick little change and show how that shows up to the instructor. So I'm an author now. I'm in authoring view. I'm going to go to the curriculum and say I want to fix a typo. I'll go into unit 1 and just do something really minor. So I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to change general chemistry to bold. I'm just going to do something simple like that. That's kind of inconsequential. So now if I go to publish, again, this is the authoring view. It's showing me that I changed this page and I can publish it. Let's just say I made a style change. I can't help myself, even if it's a demo, I want to have a thoughtful comment there. So I pushed that out. Oh, and I could automatically push this out to all products and sections. So meaning that I could go ahead and just make sure that any sections that were created from this automatically get the update. But in this case, I didn't check that. So as the instructor, and let me just check chat again really quickly. Oh, thanks, Norm. I can see now, and if I refresh my page, actually, I can see that I have one update available. And I can go into that and see what this update was. And this is another reason why it's good to have good comments, because this is what will be viewable to the instructors and help them understand what was changed. And if they want to apply that update right away, or if it's something so massive or something that would impact the students, I'm going to just wait and not update it yet. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and apply that update.
This is a big change from the way we handled things in Legacy. Any of you that dealt with the update approach in Legacy, if we pushed an update, everybody got it, and they got it without warning, unless we emailed them. Making that distinction between allowing instructors to sort of preview what's coming and accept it, but also recognizing that, there are times when something's just so drastically wrong that we just need to get the fix out there and be able to distinguish between these two. Is going to be, I think, a real improvement in our publishing process. I'm excited that this one's there.
Yeah, Sandy.
Quick question on the editing and publishing. So you had the choice to check the box to automatically push update to all.
Mhm.
Does that mean just all of your courses or all of anybody's courses?
Any course sections that were created from that base course project would receive the update.
Okay.
I mean, if you know you have a lot of folks using course sections across the US, like you, or, you know, across the world, as we do with chemistry, you probably wouldn't want to do that unless it's something like so inconsequential, you know, that you wouldn't need to alert folks to it. You know, changing a typo,
Yeah,
I can
but
imagine
I
you just
mean,
want to push that out.
I can see that option be available in the admin view, but I think to have that option like to any instructor, I mean, they might want to be putting in stuff that, you know, would just relate to their course, you know, within there. And if a lot of those, I mean, you would
We
think
have
they
ways
would
to manage
embed.
that. So this is the course, this is the case where the author uh knows the course sections that are out there, right? Like if it's something where I'm an instructor out there and I created a customized version of the course, that's a completely different process. Like I would probably create a product, or the author, the course owner would create a product for that person to be able to customize their own content. And then they'd have their own authoring space for their course.
If you think about this as a downstream lineage question, so you, Sandy, as the owner of chemistry, if you find an error, you can make a change and push out that change to everybody who is further downstream. If an instructor has gone in and made their own customization, they can receive your changes. They can make their own changes, but they can't push their changes out to others that aren't using your branch. So if we get a department-wide adoption of your course, they customize, they can get changes from you. They could, in theory, also push those changes out to the entire department, but they're not going to be able to push it out to the entire chemistry community.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you can see that change, you know, when I accepted it as instructor, I'm now looking at it from the student view, and that change is there. So yeah, this is very exciting stuff for us in terms of the whole publication process being streamlined, and have these alerts to know what's changing, to have the history as well, and visible. So course progress. So you probably are interested in that. Course progress is something new that we want to be able to show the students and have the instructors know more about as well. Right now it's at 2%. I've probably worked through one module to make it so. And course progress is calculated on both page touches, but as well, if there's activities on any given page, it takes into account the number of activities in that page and calculates based on the touch of the page and the amount of activities that have been touched as well. Over the course of a whole course, as big as this one, it's going to take a lot for students to get to full 100% completion. And so one of the things we've done is also, as soon as someone touches a page, it kind of bumps that up a little bit to 1%, so that students don't feel like it takes, you know, half the course to get some progress, especially in a course with this many pages. I mean, there's probably 300 pages in this course. Yes, Sandy.
Just a suggestion on that. I like the full course project or progress, but it might also be helpful to, like, when they're on an individual unit or module, to see that progress, because then, you know, that's, you know, that looks overwhelming, especially when you look at, but, you know, they can see, okay, I finished this unit. I don't know, just a suggestion.
Yeah. And actually we are kicking around some more ideas like that to help with motivation. And this, and the students see that they're actually completing chunks of the course. So that is still under discussion. In fact, a lot of the analytics, as you can tell, we don't even have dashboards yet. Those are all right now, not only in discussion, but also getting mapped out, and the UI kind of getting worked on for those.
And they'll
This is
be available in the July release, the dashboard and gradebook.
Gradebook is already available, at least for standalone courses. We will have expanded analytics coming out for the July release. And part of what we're looking at there on the one hand is how do we provide better views into the learning dashboard, for the learning estimates, but we also want to take advantage of some of these new soft scheduling and deadline capabilities to try to give students and instructors a crisper sense of not just you finished 2% of the course, but eventually like how close are you to being where you should be this week, right? That's where the soft scheduling lands. And so I think that we're really going to start to see this section expand out from progress perspective.
Got it.
Yes. So Dawn, to answer your question, yeah, you can, what you would do is like, you'd probably move the modules around so that there's nothing happening in that spring break week.
Okay, but so you have to do it manually at this point? You can't just, when you set it up, say this is a week off, don't put anything here?
Yeah, but that's an interesting idea. Let me go back to the instructor view and let's go to that.
Yeah, I think as it's currently set up, while you can't block off a week from the beginning, it's relatively easy to just grab the two pieces representing that week and push to the left for the top one, push to the right, and it can be structure for you if needed.
Because when you're moving one thing, the rest doesn't move.
Yeah, it does. I just am not demonstrating it appropriately. I
okay.
can't really remember how to get that to happen.
Do you like have to do option and drag or something? Maybe.
Good question. Maybe I can.
Because like with a week off in both semesters now, it would be really nice to be able to just say, no, don't put anything on this week when you set up the scheduling.
Yeah, I see that.
And I don't think there's any school that doesn't have a week off nowadays. So
yeah, that's right.
I would think that would probably be a pretty universal.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to make that happen. I know I saw Darren demonstrate it. So apologies.
Sounds like it's minimum a UI tweak, because if you know it's there and can't find it, you need to
Yeah,
make it easier for the people that don't know it's
I know, right?
But
I like this idea, and Dawn, you're not the first to bring that up. That is something that we might even have in a GitHub ticket already, the ability to just designate weeks off or something as part of this initial step.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or things people want to see?
I have a question.
Yeah.
You can go first.
No, I asked a million questions already. Go ahead.
So, Erin, in the context of what you've talked about in terms of gating, and also in terms of that gating and capabilities for the assignments, and the new progress bar, all that's like very exciting. I'm wondering if that means that you've also incorporated the conditional gating for moving from page 2 only after you've done touches for page 1, or 3 after doing touches for page 2.
Yeah, I have to admit, I didn't go into this too much because I haven't played around with this enough, but like, why not? Let's try this and see what happens. Right now, as you can see, it can drill into any module and even page. So give me a condition again. What's one you'd want to try?
We're interested in basically not being able to proceed from one page until you've done the previous page.
Okay.
So, or you could do that on the module level too, if that's easier at this point for this test.
Well, yeah, for the test. It looks like we can drill into even the page level, so that's cool. I'll do it the module level. So let's see how this goes. Module 1, course introduction. Probably would want actually to do it more like module 2. So say module 2 has a condition when this resource, module 1, needs to be finished. Oh, what happened? I did something to lose it. I did not like that. But again, like I said, we haven't played around with this and all the conditions. I think this has something I keep seeing it restart, like the page restart for some reason. Let me, module 2. Let's see. I guess I probably would want to also know this resource must be finished. Oh, it's not behaving the way I need it to at the moment. So, but that's the idea essentially, is that then I could say module 2 needs to be finished before module 1 can be open. And then I believe it also gives some sort of notification to the student of that gating and scheduling, so that they are aware too. But Lauren, I'm not able to demonstrate it perfectly right now. I am on a development server at the moment, so might have some wonkiness there. But just know that that is essentially the way we've set it up to be able to gate and schedule anything and kind of arrange the course in a way where you can set up those gates exactly how you described. And with this idea of a product, which I haven't really gone into too much, you'd be able to have that as a blueprint that you can just kind of stamp out sections from. So if you put in a lot of effort to put all those gates and schedules in place, then you could preserve that for subsequent sections very easily as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering that. And it looks like something that once it's ready, I'll play around with it a bunch. And
Yeah,
I appreciate you taking the time to describe it today.
sure, of course. So is there anything else folks are interested in seeing or wanting to discuss a little bit further?
Karen, a question on the scheduling, that kind of little calendar weekly schedule that you had up. Can the course author, owner, whatever we're calling it, set a default schedule? And yeah, and then instructors can change it, however they want, but I think that might be helpful.
Not at the moment, because it's based on the actual schedule that the instructor sets. So it's based on the course section. Now I wonder what you're saying. I might be able to do something similar with a product. I haven't tried that yet. Where I said, I don't know if this is available just by course section or if it's also available in the product, but that's an interesting idea. And that would be where we could set defaults.
I think at this point, we only have it set up at the
Section level.
At the section level. We've talked about wanting to provide that capability, both for scheduling, but also to give a sense from authors of, we expect this to take this much time. Because I think to do this at a product level where you have a default schedule, given the variation between 6-week to 16-week semesters across our partners, you'd almost need to set it at a percentage basis.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that we talk about as it is a thing we want, but the list of things that we want is a long list, and it's a great list, but it's a long one.
It is a long one.
Is there any capability to change the numbering of the modules? I believe the answer is no, but I thought I'd ask anyway.
Well, I saw a setting where you can eliminate the numbers completely, or but I haven't seen anything where you can change the numbers. I think it's in edit section details. Here's where it says like display curriculum item numbers. I guess I can turn that off. I'm gonna turn it on because I haven't really paid attention to what it looks like. Module 1, module 2, module 3.
Mhm.
Okay, let me go back to that and see what happens. So it doesn't look like we have the ability to rearrange them, but I can remove them altogether at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is something. It's a step in the right
Yeah,
direction,
yeah,
right?
I think it is, yeah. Um,
And actually, if you think about it, if you rearrange the content and you have the module numbers, it'll just, it won't, the numbers aren't hard coded in. And that's, I think, why we have that automatic numbering, so that when you rearrange content, you don't have to worry about things being named module 3 and now it's in a different place in the course. It'll just put the numbers in.
right, sure.
But yeah, if you don't want that, you can just remove them.
Yeah, I just know that I think feedback that I've gotten from instructors, and I don't, maybe this isn't across the board, but most say they would prefer a numbering like unit 1, and then the first module is module 1.1 and 1.2, as opposed to you see how many modules there are in the chemistry, and it's, I don't know, I don't know, like 30 or 40 modules. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
thought I'd mention that.
I want to put that back. See something. So what you're describing is then having a system where the pages themselves are numbered as well.
No, not the pages necessarily, but the modules aren't numbered 1 through however many you have. They're numbered according to what unit they're in.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So yeah,
So this would be like 1.9 and then this would be
correct.
2.1.
Right.
Interesting. I wonder, it'd probably be really like easy to just have a selection of the numbering system that's used,
Mhm.
I can imagine, and it be part of that managed course or edit section details, where you could probably say either display curriculum item numbers or display them this way.
Mhm.
So that's interesting. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm gonna.
Yeah, and if an instructor decides to move content from year to year, if all of the module numbers get changed, a lot of instructors will put the module numbers in their syllabus
Mhm.
and or on Canvas or their LMS, and then they have to rearrange all of those, where I think it'd be less so if it was more of a 1.1 1.2, that type of numbering.
Mhm.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah, interesting. Thanks. One minute's left. Anybody want to see something else neat? Lauren, you took your girl.
I have a quick question. In the manage, do you have the capability to turn off the assignment view? I'm asking because I know the way that students abuse the LMS, where they basically choose not to read through any module content in our LMS and just go like item by item through the assignments. And Canvas will not allow us to turn off that feature, and I hate that feature. So is there a way for us to turn off that feature here? Because what I don't want students to do is not read any of the modules and instead just go assignment by assignment by assignment, which I am able to see them doing that on a timestamp.
Not yet, but that's an interesting feature that I definitely would want to investigate further. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Sorry, the students make it hard each time.
I know, right?
Well, you can schedule the assignments, right? For like a
Oh,
a
right.
later
You could
date.
gate them so that they can't
Yeah.
get it to them until they go through all the pages.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit confused with the gating
So
by how it will know when you've quote unquote finished a particular module. Does it know you finished the module by page touches, Or does it know you finished a module by the assignments being finished in that module? In which case they can game the system and go, because we're not doing date gating, we're only doing conditional gating based upon completion of all previous pages.
I don't know the answer to that, so I will look that up though and add it to the documentation for sure. It's a great
There are
question.
currently there are a few options right now in how you can gate. And like Aaron, I haven't played much with this. I think the two of us still need to drill a little deeper. But I know that there are a few options now, and the larger vision is for you to be able to select from, I want students to have done every page or every things that might range from they need to have completed every activity in this module to they need to have at least started some percentage of activities. So I think we can eventually get to a selection of options that will get to what you want. We want to take some care in balancing the appropriate number of options with not having every possible option that anyone might want. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've my experience with lots and lots of learning platforms is that when we try to create every possible option, we end up with these really horrific user interfaces that folks don't use anyway. So figuring out what are the right subset of options that you need to guide students towards behaviors most likely to create robust learning conditions. But making sure that we're focused on that is always a challenge. But I know that that's part of the vision for gating is to give you some of those options. I know there's some options in there already, and there are more to come.
Thanks, Ron. But yeah, that gating and scheduling then would probably show them here what the due dates are and if it's open or not. So they wouldn't just be, if you put that scheduling in place, you wouldn't just be able to go through and just pick off these without having to read if you have that gating set up. So it can be done right now, it just can't be done quickly and automatically. So now let me, well, I'm sorry, I keep moving this around, but I want to go to the Torus community page. So I can show you guys what might be next up. We're going to do, I have some user testing slated for May. So if you're interested in playing around with some of these features, that would be the time to come to the next community meeting to get to do that. We'll probably have some think aloud exercise or something to help us gather some more of these requirements as you're telling us even through this demo. So that's kind of what we have planned. Not sure what features yet. I'm open to suggestions if there's something in particular you want to play with or give feedback on. And I'm just looking at the chat again right now.
And while Aaron's checking out the chat, just a reminder, as you mentioned at the top of the meeting, that we will be sending out some emails detailing, hey, we are about to push these new changes out. Here's what you can expect to see, and here are some features that you may want to check out. That will get you out both an email and an update on the webpage that lists what the changes are and discusses them. And this is going to start a better process for us of being able to start regularly publishing what's changing in this release, when can you expect it? So hopefully clear communications around all this work.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. And in the chat, Aaron, you have a really good, interesting question. We do have things we do have some tools as part of the Open Assignment Toolkit that can analyze chat and discussion data. And if you're interested in that, just contact me directly. I'll put you in touch with those folks or show you what those are. Anything else? Don't want to end too soon. More chat? Yeah, sure, no problem. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today and for seeing the latest and greatest that's going to be coming out. Stay tuned for the communications around this release. We're not just going to push it out like tomorrow. It's ready, but again, we want to have some regular communications and channels for us to be able to get things out to you pretty quickly and in a timely way. If you're interested in doing, preliminary testing, or if you have additional requirements that you think of after the meeting, please reach out to me. I'm happy to take those. I'm happy to have volunteers for testing as well. So again, thanks everybody. Thanks, Lauren. And yeah, have a nice, happy holiday weekend, and we'll see you next time. Great. Thanks, Natalie.